Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the FoulPlay-Land. As always, I'm your foul player, and thank you for stepping into the FoulPlay-Land with me. Um, Wanted to discuss some random topics this evening, and in addition to boxing, as always, get to the boxing. Well, not as always, but in this edition, I think I'm going to talk about the boxing last, because it's of least import because there's nothing really popping off like that. If my audio sounds shitty too, let me know. Actually, I'm gonna check my TV see if my audio sounds shitty. But I hope you guys are enjoying your fucking summer. This shit is flying by, which is kind of whack. And I normally hate summer, and this summer is I normally hate. Actually, yeah, it sounds okay. But I normally hate the summer, and this like because of the weather. And this summer is really no different. Like fucking muggy, fucking can't stand this shit. Like, but I'm having a good time thus far. Like this summer, with the exception of busting my ass the other day, um, and fucking still feeling sore as a motherfucker due to that. But I'm kind of sad that it's ending, nevertheless. But as far as supply stuff like that, I always talk about. Um, there wasn't much like to do in that department. Um, the There was a little bit of news as far as like the Fed chairman speaking or testifying today, and he's basically saying that there's not going to be inflation, or that the inflation that is happening, they don't tell you that there's going to be inflation most times. Um, but as far as like trying to lift the interest rates, it's not going to happen, according to him. And the way that works is that they usually fucking tell you like, or like they're the ones, the Fed usually prints money, and then they print that money and give it to the banks for some ungodly reason, and then the banks lend it to you with a little bit of interest. But usually when they lend it to you, like I mean, like right now, the Fed is lending money at zero interest, or giving it to the banks at zero interest. Um, and then fucking the banks usually charge you, but when they charge you, like they don't usually charge you like a wild rate if it's at zero. Like so, if it's at 3, like then they'll probably charge you 6% interest. So right now it's at zero, so you could buy a house. I'm hearing motherfuckers buying loans for like 2% interest. Um, and the way that helps the economy is that buying of houses like stimulates the economy. The economy. I mean, even though it's like a real short term thing in my eyes, like it's just money going from the Federal Reserve to the lenders, which are banks, to you, which you get charged the most interest on it, and then then give it to back to a bank for the rest of your life. So I mean, like that sucks. But I think that like the whole like people um, running out and buying houses, that shit is slowing down. Normally it picks up in the summer, and right now it's slowing down. And I think it's due to lack of inventory, and I think it's due to just random shit. Tyrone, if you want to jump on too, I mean, you're more than welcome. Let me copy the thing. but that's due to lack of inventory. Like a lot of people, when this lockdown shit, when the low interest rates were happening initially, like they went out and bought cribs. A lot of people wanted to buy cribs, and now those loans were available to them. They went out and bought the cribs. But normally, when in the winter, when it's not popping off, like for real estate, like there was a house for sale across the street from me, and there were open houses there that were no bullshit, like 100 people coming through in one day. And I remember when I was gonna buy a house in Brooklyn back in the day, and this is when Brooklyn was like popping off. I went to an open house, and the realtor was like a total bitch because like that house was definitely gonna sell, so she could care less. But she showed me the list. I was like, yo, you think this house is gonna sell? She's like, well, you can look at the list, and like she showed me the list of how many people came through that day, and it was like not even 10. So when you have some shit like across the street, I mean, there's a nice neighborhood, but it ain't like fucking that. Like, like I've always wanted to live in fucking Nutley, New Jersey, or, like, it's not that kind of neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, but nevertheless, there's like every house out here, and every house probably where you live too is fucking was selling for an astronomical rate. Now, like, dudes is just beasting. Like that house, I'll give you an example. Like that house across the street from me was fucked up. And it was like nobody lived in it for years, even before I moved here. And then they sold it like a year and a half ago for like 180,000, which ain't shit. Like that's pretty good. But then these motherfuckers like hooked it up, and it wasn't even all that. I actually went in there, and it just sold for like 470,000. And that shit ain't worth no fucking 470,000. But and that's just an indication. Not that this block is fly, like, but it's an indication that the fucking real estate market is stupid right now. It doesn't make sense. It's irrational. So that shit is slowing down though. Like in the midst of the summer and like the selling season, like there's just no inventory, or people are just getting disenfranchised. Like, yo, like this shit is too much money. So that's fucking up like the home sales. And the Fed chairman Powell, he said that there's going to be long-term like no interest rates. I think he may have said like till 2023. So that's no joke. Hey, L Dub, thanks for coming through, man. What's good to you too, my brother. And please, if you guys could like subscribe to L Dub and subscribe to TS Boxing, both fantastic channels. I was actually listening to the Law earlier today, and he was discussing the top ranked card or the top ranked schedule that's coming up. Wasn't bad. But there's also and I hope, like, I mean, I didn't get to talk to you guys last time, but like the prices of silver have been OD down lately, which makes no fucking sense. Like with the economy, being at zero interest rates, with the amount of money they keep printing every fucking day, the Fed keeps printing money, giving it to the banks. The banks are buying like every house left and right because they want everybody to become renters in the future, which is fucking scary. And then they're bailing out every industry that they could, even though those industries don't even need help, like the tech industry. They're just giving out money left and right, and the price of silver goes down. That doesn't make sense. So I mean, like, that's not like fucking like me, an investor in silver, cries about that stuff. I get happy when it goes down because that just means I'm gonna buy more. The market right now is irrational, but I'm in a position where I could also remain irrational and just keep buying shit at a discount. Like when it's irrational, that means things either go extremely high or extremely low, and I just buy the things that are low that I know are good, and I'm comfortable holding them for the rest of my life. If I don't get to enjoy the benefits of that, hopefully I don't, but my son will get to enjoy it, so it's all good. What else? Also, like my little nephew, my nephew stays with me like every summer. If you guys, if my audio sounds fucked up, let me know because I got the AC running because it's fucking hot. But he he was supposed to go back to school in Virginia on like August 9th or some shit. And his mom's said that they okay, thank you, Tyrone. Yo, jump on if you want to too, bro. Fucking but his mom said that they would do the return like to his new school in August 9th, and that she asked like the teacher, you know, could I like what's the deal? Like, you know, I'd rather my son do virtual like for the time being. Um, what's ranked? Ranked game. Oh, okay, my video game. But and she like the teacher basically shut her down. She's like, nah, like, you know, there ain't gonna be no virtual this year. Everybody gotta come in. Um, and in that school, like they want every kid wearing a mask, which is fucking stupid. But she ended up running into the principal of the school. Nah, yeah, I got it after you said it. And in a store, and he basically told her like, nah, like it's optional. Like some people are gonna do virtual, some people are gonna do in person. But what they're trying to do is that they're trying to get all these kids to come back to school, and then like um, sort of like in an off-branded way, like keep them in mask, like fucking so they get used to being in mask for the rest of your lives, and um, maybe get that thing in the fucking but which if you got it, I mean, like God bless, like fucking you know, it is what it is. Like fucking, I'm not gonna get my channel kiboshed. You know, speaking down about that. Um, but you know, the indoctrination is real. And another thing too, like when all this shit started happening last year, like where people were like dick riding like teachers and nurses, like fucking and like, you know, a lot of teachers thought and a lot of nurses thought that they had every right to fucking tell you how to live and like fucking shriek in your face and saying that you're killing people because of this, that, or the other. Listen, fuck teachers and nurses. Like at the end of the day, you get paid for what the fuck you do. Like I don't need to hear like you're not a fucking a cave worker or some shit or a soldier. Like, you know, getting paid little money for doing some exemplary shit. Like you're fucking getting paid pretty handsomely. One, two. A lot of teachers are fucking twats. Like could I say that? Like fucking whatever. But three, I mean, like you're fucking doing a job, bro. Like fucking, it's just like cops too, man. Like fucking other group of crybabies. Like, you know, you get paid good for what you do. Shut the fuck up. Like go. You don't got to tell nobody how to live. Like fucking, I can't stand when people, you know, you start talking about some like street shit when like fucking you're like, yeah, but, you know, sometimes these cops harass you, and then some asshole comes from left field. Oh, my father was a cop. Like I ain't fucking ask you. Fuck you and your father. Like, you know, but you know, it's just how people are today. Like everybody got, you could just tell like some people sometimes are bursting to jump into what the fuck you're saying, like just to put their input. They're not listening to shit that you just said. They just want to say like fucking I'm a teacher, like, or I'm a cop, or I'm a fucking stripper. Like I don't give a fuck what you are. Like what you need to be is the fuck out of my face and in hell. Like fucking fuck off. Like everybody should live and let live. Everybody should be able to say what you want. And I'm being hypocritical in the sense that I'm bitching about people saying what they want. But a lot of these people like say what they want and they try to like kind of like divot their way into like your existence and giving you a guilt trip for whatever the fuck, like, you know, and you know, now you're giving a new class of people, teachers and nurses, heroes, our frontline heroes, our essential heroes, like, you know, fucking, and everybody's a fucking essential, like, you know, putting the fucking badge around their Facebook profile pic that, you know, I'm essential, so I can stay home. Well, you're essential because you do stock fucking or restock fucking cans of beans at Trader Joe's. Like you're not that essential. Like any fucking asshole that's looking for work in front of a Home Depot could do your job for half the money you make, and you don't, you know, fucking. But there was another story I wanted to talk about. I don't get to talk about politics much, man. Like fucking you know, the and and honestly, like I really can't talk about politics that much. But um, the problem is that you know, if I say certain things political, it's all well and good. But if I say certain other things political, you know, the channel gets the kibosh, fucking on. And I know that's a corny word for me to keep saying, but you know, I think I don't want to get algorithmically tagged or fucking by even mentioning the fact that my channel could be in peril. But this is about my favorite target, the liberal left. I can't stand fucking liberals. I can't stand the fact that people people of color like fucking cap for liberals, like we're part of the crew. But I mean, if you have any contention to what I'm saying, like I mean, name me like any black or Spanish politician that's really holding it down, like fucking in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party for that matter, like fucking because I can't stand neither one. But this is about a guy named Ed Buck, and he was actually from Los Angeles. This guy was a big political contributor, and when they say like the donor class of like these political parties, it's usually not like that. These people are just coughing out money. It's usually that they're trying to find other rich people to cough out money, and that's usually like a real political donor, not like because there's a cap of how much you could give politically, anyway, legally. But if you get a bunch of people to donate politically, then that's like where the magic happens, if you will. But this guy was one of those people. He was a big time Democratic contributor for decades. He was cool with like the Clintons, fucking with Congressman Schiff, just a bunch of people. If you look it up, his name is Ed Buck, Buck. But and the dude basically, well, I'll read the article from the Los Angeles CBS local. And it said former political donor Ed Buck was convicted Tuesday of a serial of federal charges, including providing methamphetamine to two men who died in his West Hollywood apartment. The 66-year-old was convicted of all 9 counts he was facing. Jurors deliberated for just 4 hours and reached a verdict. Buck was convicted of 2 counts of distributing methamphetamine that resulted in the deaths of 55-year-old Timothy Dean in January of 2019 and 26-year-old Gamel Moore in July of 2017. Each of the 2 charges of distribution of controlled substances resulting in death carry 20-year mandatory minimums. He also faces state charges of running a drug den, but the federal case proceeded first. See, the thing is, though, like what they're not mentioning in this article is that both of these dudes were black. They were brothers, and what this guy did was, and that's the thing too, like I know people's reactions to drugs. I don't partake, and I never partook, but I've been around people that have partaken, if you will. And my dad, drug addict, my brothers, drug addicts. Um, um, but I've known of people that overdose. So per se, if me, Tyrone, fucking L Dub, and whoever do drugs, and L Dub and Tyrone overdose, more likely than not, if I do the same shit, I'm gonna overdose too. That's how it works. Like fucking but this dude was supplying like methamphetamine to these dudes, and they were dying like on site pretty much. Like fucking and both the dudes were porno stars too. Like they were both porn actors. And the guy Ed Buck was a homosexual too. I didn't look if these dudes were doing like homosexual pornography, like which I think it's a little bit too deep for my investigative skills. Like fucking, not that I can't find it, but I'm good. Like I don't need to see like because I know like some fucking pictures are gonna come up, or so I'm Gucci on that department. But the fact of the matter is that this dude was like a big time Democratic contributor, and Lost One said no one should be doing that stuff at that age. Yeah, I agree, man. But it you know shit happens, man. Like I don't know if you're talking about the porn or the meth, like fucking up, but neither or like you shouldn't be doing it. And I don't know if you caught too, like my brother. I don't know if I told you in the past, but my brother currently is a big time like drug addict, and my dad he was a drug addict. He since passed like due to complications from an overdose too. So I mean, I'm experienced as far as like seeing the effects of it, and I could definitely tell you like if he said both. Yeah, I agree. But if you take something that's like gonna put you over the edge, like an overdose, like everybody like that you gave this shit to, 95% of the time, I don't care how like strong of a tolerance you have, like they usually overdose too. So this could have been like foul play. Like this could have been that guy Ed Buck serving up hot shots to kill these dudes. And the fact that he's like such a big time contributor to these Democratic political parties, like and the fact that both of these guys that died were both black dudes, it should be a cause for pause. A lot of people, like I mean, like Spanish people like myself, or fucking a lot of brothers. We usually talk a lot of shit about like we ain't fucking with no party, and then at the end of the day, like then we'll go all vote Democrat. Like I've only voted once, actually twice. One because I wanted to get out of work, and the other time because I was really committed to who I voted for, which was this last time. Um, I mean, get a clue as to who I voted for. I never voted Democrat in my life. Like fucking I think voting is a waste of time. I'm never voting again. Um, but nevertheless, I mean, like the grimiest political party, um, without a question, is anything to do with liberal. Like fucking, those people are unhappy, fucking disgusting. Like, and the thing is too, like I know the political process, like because I've ran in those circles. I mean, like I ran with the people that put money, not ran with them. I've been in like places with the people that basically put the batteries into like most of these political parties, Democrat and Republican, liberal and conservative, like, and they're super slimy, you know. But let me see. At that age, it could have just been their hearts, man. Yeah, well, one was 55, and I think the other one was 26. Um, and this was like two different years. Like one was 2017 and one was 2019. And it's poison. Nah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. Um, I've never voted in my life. Don't. It's all a scam, bro. Like fucking the But again, I mean, as far as what the people in Europe are doing right now, or like namely in France and in the UK, like I commend that 100%. Like I think that should happen more, and frankly, I think it should be happening more in this country. But at the end of the day, I mean, like it sucks for like my peoples, if you will, like because we're throwing away our votes every 4 years, and we always say we're not going to, and then when it comes time to vote, like we just throw it away. And as far as the media goes, like there's certain apparatuses that really, really, really control the media, like front to back, side to side. Like ain't no fucking doubting it now. It's truly apparent. Like I hope you guys are starting to be aware of the how apparent it is lately. If they want you to know about something, they're gonna drill it into every fucking commercial break, guaranteed. This is on YouTube. This is on fucking regular TV. I came a little late because the Mets were playing. And you better believe that every commercial break had some shit to do with the fucking Ronies and about going to get yourself plugged, if you will, like with that. And the amount of pandering that happens with that, like it's ridiculous because the TV that we have here in New York, local TV, it's like the local channels are only broadcasting to New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, but it's all the urban areas. Like, so it's only like the New York, like it's called the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We all get the same TV, but that TV signal reaches like the cities in Connecticut or real populous area close to New York, Connecticut, like real populous areas of New Jersey, like where I'm living now, and the five boroughs in New York City, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, parts of Long Island, and the Bronx. But the amount of pandering that happens, like with these commercials, is ridiculous. Like they had a commercial with Spike Lee wearing a mask, like fucking, and people were hollering, like just casually stepping out of their houses and talking to them, talking to him about getting getting the thing in the arm, like fucking. It's so fucking corny, like And the thing is too that like when they pander, like that level of pandering, I take offense to that shit. I'm not like taking offense to it and being a little bitch, like fucking like a lot of people do. Like, what do you mean by that? Like fucking but or making everything, painting everything like with a race. Like I don't do that shit. Like fuck, I know like that stuff is more than prevalent, and I've been the victim of that stuff. Not in fucking 2020 and 2019, like a lot of you fucking crybabies are like fucking But I've been a victim to that like fucking as a teenager, as a preteen, as a fucking old grown man recently, like fucking So I've been very aware of the issues at hand. And don't think because I have this fucking American flag like fucking up on my wall that I'm like this uber patriot either. Like fucking I had that American flag because one, I just became politics 101. They are car salesmen. Yeah, absolutely. Like I became sort of patriotic recently because I know like that. Oh yeah, you said he thought it was 56 and 66. No, it's 26 and 55. But I sort of becoming a little. It's sort of wearing on my heartstrings a little bit of late because I do feel that we're losing a grip around the world and in this country as far as letting this liberal bullshit like take over our lives. Like the fact that all of a sudden like it's okay to be censored. Like fucking I'm okay. I hate censoring. I don't care if you're calling me a SPICK or SP, however the fuck you spell it. Like, as long as you're not, I mean, the censorship that happens like in a face-to-face level, that's handled by me. If you call me that in my face, you're gonna have a problem. But I don't care if you feel like every fucking Puerto Rican in the land is, I don't care. Like, there should be no censoring. Like fucking because at the end of the day, I mean, like pretty soon, like you could say anything you want about what kind of fucking sexual shit you're into. That's cool. And pretty soon they're gonna start saying that fucking that people have a right to be in love with kids. Like fucking, and trust me, that's gonna happen. Like fucking that's coming down the pipe. So and if just like with everything else, like God forbid you have an opinion that's contrary to that, like you're a bigot. So what the fuck is gonna happen like in the future when people say, well, like the only people that I could love like are fucking kids, and like you can't stop me from love. Love is love, like fucking, so what the fuck am I gonna do like then? Like, am I gonna stay shut and say, well, fucking it's cool on TV, so fuck it, like, I gotta accept it, like, or am I with my big mouth, um, and gonna be labeled a bigot? I'm not a bigot. Fucking I get along with everybody. unless you're an asshole, like fucking hold on. It has gotten way too much. The thing that scares me is how fast all this has happened. Yeah, I mean, actual comedians can't even tell certain jokes anymore. Well, honestly, I wasn't big on like a lot of comedy, to be frank. Especially lately, like in the last like 10 years, it's kind of like soured on me. But now it's like so fucking unfunny. A lot of these things. It's I mean, unless you're like really, I mean, I like sometimes like when Bill Burr like kind of like shows his ass and like talks about CNN and but even that I'm not like fucking rolling on the floor. It's just an observation that I find interesting by somebody who I find funny. But maybe I'm getting old, but everybody else like I mean like there's all these late night shows that they have in America. Trevor Noah, that motherfucker is paint drying like corny as fuck. Even before he became a late night talk show host and started getting political, um, he's another panderer too. But he was corny even before that. But now he got a late night talk show, and all he does is Trump, 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 Trump. Fuck. And now like Trump doesn't even show his face, and he's still squeezing from that lemon, and it's just fucking so unfunny. Like, and I'm not like saying it because I did listen to him. I find him kind of funny. But the thing is too, like I'm very weird too. Like fucking like I don't like action movies. Like I fucking I I haven't liked comedy movies like since I was like a teenager, and I'm fucking old now. Like even when I was a kid though, I used to watch boring shit. I watched Nova, shit about like medieval, like fucking like Europe or fucking like I've always watched like documentaries, and this is like without cable. Um, like I used to watch news shows, but even the news, like I can't even watch 2 seconds of the news now. Like it's so fucking stupid. You know, it's all the same shit every channel. Like fucking the delivery is the same, the content is the same. It's just fucking whack. And on top of that too, it's just fear mongering. Like not that it has any effect on me. Like I mean, they were fear mongering the entirety of last year, and fucking I did whatever the fuck I wanted, and it worked to my benefit because a lot of people took to the fear or subscribed to the fear mongering and weren't going out. Fucking I so I was able to go out and not see people. So fuck him. I think he was from New York too. Yeah, I think he was. I mean, he sounds like he's from New York. Yeah, I don't either. I'm pretty sure you're talking about listening to the news, and I don't blame you. I mean, don't listen to the news, like fucking and you know, again, I mean, like I had a lot of conversations with people, like pretty smart people, and they sort of talk like in the same vein that I'm talking, but but then they do dumb shit like fucking get emotional about the shit they see on TV. I'm like, I thought you don't watch the news. I thought you don't care about politics. Now all of a sudden, you're fucking propping up this guy or that guy. Um, I can't watch an actual film anymore. Yeah, I mean films, like the Marvel movies. I always tell people I haven't watched one Marvel movie. Like I mean, no bullshit. I watched like two or three, like because my son, he actually likes going to the movies still. So I mean, if he goes, I'm going with him. But I usually go to sleep. I used to never go to sleep in the theaters. That's because I was fucking dead broke. So going to the theater, like I literally went to the theater when I was like 5 years old to see Masters of the Universe, and I didn't go to another movie until like the last Die Hard, like Die Hard 3 or some shit, because like to pay like I think at that point I remember it was $5.75 to go to the movies. That was like an astronomical rate. Like I used to go to McDonald's like once a year or like twice a year, and I would never get a full meal at McDonald's. I would have to split a meal with my younger brother, and it was the number two meal with two cheeseburgers. But so going to the movies, I just never, I could never afford it. But I used to hear other people like even people that were kind of like broker than my family. My mom was real cheap. Oh shit, I gotta call my mom too after this, the birthday. But you know, and maybe it was all for the best because um now I just don't want to go to the movies at all. Let me take a sip of my fucking feminine ass White Claw, and I usually drink these because I don't want to buy booze anymore. And these are my wife's. Hey, lost one. Do they sell these feminine seltzer drinks in the UK? They're pretty terrible. But let me see. The FoulPlay-Land, absolutely. Fucking I actually have a Facebook FoulPlay-Land page with nothing on it, but it was from when I had a radio show. Um, Believe it or not, your boy was a big DJ in New York. Bullshit. Fucking I had a radio show in a college station in Brooklyn, but it was the biggest college radio station in the country, pretty much. But still, not that big. Nah, no, I'm not a big DJ. I was fucking with you. But um, any like so yeah, I mean, like, I don't believe the hype with none of this shit. Like fucking on the side of the can. Let me see. Oh, like show me the picture. Yeah, it's White Claw hard seltzer. It's fucking whack as shit, bro. It's feminine as fuck. But it doesn't even have buzz like that. Like, I would like to drink beer, but like fucking I'm becoming a fat fuck, bro. Like fucking and it's the brewskis too, bro. I never fucked with beer like when I was young. Like, well, no bullshit. I used to drink the cheap. Even when I had a lot of money, bro, I would buy like the 22 ounce Colt 45 for $1. Um, and I can't even smell that shit now. I don't even know what it tastes like now. Like fucking and I actually ended up getting extremely sick because of it. Like I had stomach issues because when I moved out of my mom's house when I was like 16, I had my own apartment at 17, 16 years old. Like fucking I instead of like it was in a basement, this apartment. So I would have the fridge stocked completely with Colt 45, which is like malt liquor and it's like the cheapest shit on the market. It's bum wine but beer. But I would instead of the bathroom, I would drink faucet water because I was also too cheap to buy water. And the bathroom was upstairs, but the um, the water would come out like warm, even if you let it run for a bunch, and like bubbly, which I couldn't stand, like fluoride. So if I got thirsty, I would usually drink beer, like fucking So I remember like for a month, I probably drank water like 4 times. Um, but one time, I had a bunch of people in my house, my apartment, and and that apartment was also haunted too, along with many other spots that I lived in. But I drank one of those like really fast. I used to always drink them fast, but I probably drank a third of one like really fast, like I always did. And my friend's sister, who was like way older than me, like was also at this party, and I'm not gonna say that part. We didn't bone or anything, but she like came at me like in a sexual way. And I remember while this was happening, I felt like extremely fucked up. And usually I would drink like 12 of those before I felt like buzzed. I wouldn't feel I feel okay, but the room started like spinning, so I fucking made myself throw up, and I fell asleep. The following day, I remember my friend and my other friend were in my house, and I could hear them giggling about some stupid shit. And then let me show you the. I ain't seeing it. There you go. It has a wave, I think. Like it's not like it's nothing special. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. Um, but sorry that made me laugh. Uh, too cheap to buy water, so I lived off beer. Yeah, that's no bullshit, bro. And I would show up with those beers, like if I went to a house party, like I would show up with a box of them, and like people would think that I dropped down like fucking you know, you show up with a box of like Coronas, that's like $50. But I would show up with a box that only had like 10 of them, but it looked really big, and like I'd be out of pocket $10, and I looked cool for 30 minutes, like fucking. But then the bums that would like dare to drink that shit, like fucking were the only ones that enjoyed it. But so anyways, yeah, like the room started spinning, like I fell asleep. I woke up the next day, and my friends were like giggling, like fucking I don't know why, but I had a little bit of a stomach ache, and then fucking I it just started getting worse and worse and worse, fucking and I was trying to wait it out, like fucking I couldn't even eat. So then I told my friends, I was like, bro, like fucking, because you can't go to the hospital, like since I was a teenager still, like I couldn't go to the hospital just willy nilly without my mom giving authorization. So my fucking grimy ass friends took me in a cab and dropped me off in front of my mom's house. They didn't even help me up the stairs, and we went in an ambulance, like my mom, myself, like fucking to the hospital, and they said that my intestines had a fucking a blockage. I basically had a fucking stone like in my fucking intestines, and they had to give me some shit like to basically like get it out, like fucking And when it came out with a bunch of 19 tons of other shit, like fucking, it was terrible. And that's just all fucking Mickey D's, Colt 45, restaurant food, fucking salt. It was the best and worst times of my life, like fucking like when I moved out of my house. And I mean, if you want a weapon like to fucking I mean, especially as a young guy, some people get cars to try to pick up women. Get yourself an apartment like as a teenager, like, and you'll see how life changing that could be. Like, fucking I know it's harder to get an apartment now, but that was a fucking great time. Like, and it was also great because before that I was fucking homeless. Like I slept on the trains, and I would ride the local R train from one, which is like the longest line probably in the system, from 95th Street in Brooklyn to Ditmas, Astoria in Queens, and I would like sleep the whole way. Like I would ride that like two times front to back, like, and each way would take like 2 hours. And at the last stop, the cops would wake you up by fucking hitting like right above your head with a nightstick. Boom, like fucking assholes. But I basically lived like that for like 2 months. And then all of a sudden I was like in my own apartment with my best friend. I'm gonna get my best friend to come on here too. I mean, I think I told you guys, Michael Johnson and some of the other like Lowe's Dawkins, like they got to meet him like through a call. But I want him to come on because he has some banana stories too. But let me see. No, I haven't seen it here. Yeah, I mean, it's not cheap and it's fucking. I mean, it's not expensive, but it's like the price of a pack of Coronas. But it's not worth it. I mean, it's low in calories, but it's like fucking for women. For women and fucking me. Like fucking I'm playing myself. That's a good way to get into a party. Yeah, I mean, definitely, man. Um, but yeah, so the cheap fucking beer did me over. Oh, that's what I was gonna say though. But that summer, like the whole, even like when I lived in the train, like, and I actually got into a fight on the train while I was asleep. Fucking I traded a book bag. Was that Coney Island in the picture, by the way? Yes, sir, it was, my friend. I'm glad you recognized it. And that's a good 30 grand or more like on my necklace, and not showing off, like fuck that necklace, but like Coney Island's not a safe neighborhood, but fucking like I'm in my element, I guess. I'm not from Coney Island though, Coney Island is like legit, like top 3 worst neighborhood in Brooklyn. Like it's probably like a tie between Coney Island, East New York, and Brownsville. Um, but what do you call it? I was gonna say something. Damn. But oh yeah, like the whole like living on the train thing. I mean, it sucked because it was freezing sometimes. Like, but I'd fucking go to the park, like fucking brush my teeth, like in a water fountain, and or in one of my friends' houses, and I'd pretty much, you know, drop my book bag in a friend's house, and then just hang out until the sun went down. Like fucking, that's pretty much the routine for a while. So and the time I got into a brawlski on the train, like fucking, it was I traded a North Face book bag with my friend Mousy for a necklace, and some fucking dude tried to rob me off of it, and I had my book bag like this, sleeping, but and the chain, I guess it was somewhat present, but this motherfucker woke me up like to try to rob me, like fucking, yeah, okay, but and I was like afraid because he looked like crazy, like I was afraid he was gonna pull out a knife, like fucking, which I'm like terrified of fucking not terrified, but I'd rather get shot than fucking get stabbed any day. Like, and when somebody I'll be right back, man, just going to grab some food. Yeah, enjoy, bro. But when somebody stabs you, I mean, like sometimes they'll stab, like if they fucking black out, like I mean, you're gonna die with some asshole like fucking on top of you, like plunging away, like fucking, it's not like bullets, loud noises, like fucking. And plus, the first time I seen somebody die, I actually want to make a video about that. I'm gonna make a separate video about that though. But it was through a stab wound, and that was terrible. That was extremely terrible. But I did want to make a video about that before, like, because I actually wanted to show where it happened, like in Brooklyn, like on my block, like show my POV of where it happened, if you will. But rest in peace, Eddie Rosa, fucking great guy, fucking 15 years old when he died too. And I'm gonna try to get a guest on, a different guest from another channel that I watched, because maybe he could give some background on that, like, but they were part of the same gang, and he's been doing content about that gang. So I'm gonna see, maybe he had to. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knew of the guy like that died, but I don't know if he knew him like that. Maybe he did, but I'm gonna try to reach out to him and see what's up. But not reach out to him to YouTube. He's from my neighborhood too. But yeah, as far as boxing goes, I don't know if you guys heard. I'm pretty sure you did, that this whole Caleb Plant Canelo thing fell apart. I think it's gonna get back on. Like, I don't think that fight's lost, but the Caleb Plant was saying a bunch of shit about Canelo had his wedding going on. Like, I guess they're gonna tape his wedding, so it's gonna be like a TV production. And the fact that Canelo was in a golf tournament, mentioned some other extracurricular activity that Canelo was also doing, like, all while trying to, like, that were getting in the way of the fight, basically. But it's to be expected. I mean, like, fucking Canelo at the end of the day is kind of a bitch. Like, fucking not a bitch, like, as far, I mean, I know he's a warrior, like, fucking but people prop up the fact that he's an A side too much, and he behaves that way. He behaves accordingly. So what the fuck are you gonna do? I mean, like, do I think it's right? No, fuck Canelo. Like, I mean, as much as I think Caleb Plant doesn't deserve the fight, or I think anybody else should have been given that fight, but if Caleb Plant beats the shit out of Canelo, I'm gonna be laughing for 2 reasons. One, because Canelo loses, but 2, because of all these other things that I say, like, about, like, PBC giving Caleb Plant the opportunity, white guy who happens to be nailing a black chick. So like all of a sudden he's part of the nation, like fucking um yeah, Caleb Plant and all that. Exactly my point, my friend. But a lot of these channels that should have been, I mean, I'm coming from the notion that anybody else should have been given that fight, namely Jermell Charlo, whether it be like through overpaying or whatever have you, make it happen. Because PBC is like fucking basically the blackest operation ever, and Al Heyman does everything not with dollar signs, but like to advance the race. I'm being sarcastic because Al Heyman doesn't do that. He Al Heyman, if he's gone out of his way for anybody, it's Leo Santa Cruz. Um, oh, I thought there was something behind me, but you know, so I think he should have gone above and beyond, like to give the fight to Jermell Charlo because Jermell Charlo is a bigger name. One, two, they're closer. I mean, I don't know. He should have made that happen. Jamal Charlo is a bigger star, undoubtedly. Like, there's no argument that you can make for Caleb Plant getting the fight, star power wise. Actually, there's no argument you can make. Period. Besides the fact that I mean, it's a unification. Yeah, I understand that. Like fucking but you could buy like Canelo out of like wanting to unify, like fucking you know what I'm saying? Like fucking but I mean, and you know, the whole getting Canelo to PBC for one fight, that's cool, I guess. But Canelo could walk on over anywhere the fuck he wants after that. And then what? You know, like but if Caleb Plant does win the fight, I'll go back to that. It'll be fucking fantastic because that's gonna be the great white hype coming out of PBC. Caleb Plant could start behaving exactly the way that Canelo does and like act extra and act like he shouldn't be given that fight. And I think a lot of these same people that are PBC diehards like fucking are gonna turn on Caleb Plant like fucking probably using the race shit too. Um and I mean like I'm not gonna say I don't blame him. I mean like fucking I think it's somewhat merited in the sense that, like, you know, all the people that they could have given the fight to, like, you know, it's Caleb Plant that's getting it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all for naught because I think Caleb Plant is cannon fodder. Canelo's gonna beat the shit out of this dude, like fucking. But it'd be funny if he lost to him. If Caleb Plant was to win, he will be the biggest pain in the ass ever. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's another danger in that too is that Canelo. I said this before. His biggest feat was losing to Mayweather, and you know that set him off on that trend as far as behaving as if his shit don't stink. I mean, Caleb Plant could probably do the same. I mean, other people are gonna fight Canelo in the PBC stable, maybe in the future, but Caleb Plant is gonna be the first, win or lose. So I mean, he could start behaving like he's prime rib, pay-per-view worthy every time out. Um, and it's just more barriers in this boxing shit. More fucking stupid things that happen that are gonna be the detriment of getting fights to happen. Oh yeah, Canelo's gonna beat the shit out of him. Nah, I agree 100%. Still, it would be funny if Canelo loses. Yeah, I mean, if Canelo loses to anybody, I mean, it'll be fantastic. And Canelo is not worth any of this shit. I mean, I know you know, I love Michael Johnson to death, but the argument of trying to bring Canelo over, like, so other promoters, can't utilize him, like, you know, I think if that's their intention, I think it's just like a way like dumb plan. It's basically like killing roaches in your house using a shotgun. You know, like it's unnecessary. You know, you're pretty much like for the sake of competition, like, you know, drying up what's already a really dry sport, like currently. But fucking but do I think the fight's gonna happen? I mean, all this shit that's happening now, like, and somebody said too, like that all that's happening now as far as the fight supposedly being off, but that they think that the fight's on still, like I do, but that they're doing all of this to promote the fight. I mean that I'm not even gonna say that that's not the case. It probably is the case, and that's fucking whack. It's whack as fuck. Like, go promote the fight in a classical sense, or like fucking go to a bunch of YouTube channels that fucking promote boxing and promote the fight there, or have a little bit of character, like, and don't talk about fucking training or some stupid shit. Like, fucking talk about, I don't know, political shit, or fucking the fact that you don't like midgets. Like, fucking really show your ass. Like, these boxers like are so mundane in selling themselves. All these promotions like fucking have zero idea in how to promote a fight. Like, it's hilarious. Like, fucking I think any random jackass, I would get like any 23-year-old like fucking to just fucking shit out ideas like as to how to promote these fights, and they do way better than Ellerby or fucking Aram. These people's systems of promoting fights and making fights happen are archaic. They're fucking dinosaurs. Everybody always makes it seem like 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 these people have some sort of plan in mind, like, but it's just fucking a mess. A mess how these things happen. And the results show boxing's dying, and fucking you could bring up whatever excuse as to why it's dying, but it's dying while these people like Al Heyman, Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn to a degree. I mean, even though I think he's the best as far as like the classical promoter in it, like, or in him being a classical promoter, but all these people are piloting boxing into his grave. Like, and will it be a melancholy thing like when it eventually dies out? I mean, yeah, I mean, like, but I think it's almost like deserved. Like, and I'm not gonna watch UFC like when boxing meets its eventual demise. Like, I'm just gonna fucking just do some other shit. Like, maybe it's getting too old for me to, or maybe I'm getting too old. Like, fucking who knows? But I'm not rooting for its demise though. Believe that, like, fucking But will boxing's demise give us fights more frequently? Maybe. I mean, if the pace great scales scale back, if you will, a little bit, like maybe fighters will be motivated to fight for less money or more frequently too. You know, and that's another thing too. Like, with all this stuff, like as far as PBC having a plan, or Errol Spence, or somebody down the line, like, they're making this fight, waiting on this fight because they're trying to build up whatever. Like, I mean, it makes no sense to me. I heard Canelo sparred a midget. He probably did. Probably nailed a male midget. But look what happens. Like nothing's guaranteed. Like, these fighters can't coast their way into 2 years down the line doing anything. Errol Spence launched out of a car. Fucking Bud Crawford's been shot in the past. Fucking Wilder lost. Canelo's lost too. But Fury, fucking AWOL. Anthony Joshua's lost. So all these fights that we want to keep putting into the oven, like, fucking, and let them marinate like long term. I mean, it's not guaranteed. Like, shit happens, and like, when shit happens, like, I mean, like, fucking, it's usually because of something really stupid, like some fucking really shittily thought plan, like, fucking And who's the one that comes up with these plans? It's not you, the fan, like taking polls and deciding like which fight happens next. Like, fucking, I mean, that'd be great. Like, fucking, but it's not what happens. It's these fucking promoters. Like, they overthink things, and like fucking calamities happen. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna check out for the evening. I'm fucking beat. Like, and I'm going to the beach tomorrow too. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always had fun coming on. Like, fucking and I don't consider these numbers meager. Like, fucking, the fact that I have 7 people fucking listening to me. I wish more people commented. Like, fucking but that's a miracle in itself. Like I always say. Like, fucking But I thank you guys like from the bottom of my heart for even coming through. Much love, like fucking, and thank you for stepping into the FoulPlay-Land with me as always. Fucking, I'm your foul player. That's what I meant to say. Yo, and thank you for like Watcher. I mean, if you could please subscribe to my brother Watcher. Subscribe to who else came through. I don't know if Lost One has any content yet. Um, Subscribe to Tyrone Smith, to L Dub Boxing, um, and I thank them for coming through and popping up. But and I wasn't planning on like doing a live stream, so I mean, you guys have to excuse me for not really having stories at the ready. But with that, like fucking, I'm out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Peace.